Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Cooking. Today we're going to be making a very simple, straightforward SOS recipe. If you don't know what SOS stands for, it's not signaling for help. This is something different. It is also known as chipped beef on toast or biscuits. This is not the Army SOS that some people out there might be familiar with. This is my own take on it. Long before I ever went in the Army, my mom, growing up, used to make this version quite a bit. And I'm going to be using my folding spatula that we made in a previous Myog. Now, typically when you're making something like this, you would use a whisk. I don't take a whisk into the woods. I try to take as few things in the woods as possible. Okay, that's our equipment, and oh yeah, and a field knife. Let's talk about consumables you're going to need. Salt and pepper. Definitely need salt and pepper. You're going to need a source of beef for this. Now there's two ways you can do it. You could slice up this beef, which is what we are going to use for this, or you can use this canned corned beef. I've used this before. Makes a very excellent SOS. Very simple to take this out into the woods. You're also going to need beef bouillon cubes. I usually use one for this recipe we're going to do here. We'll see how it turns out. You're also going to need milk. Now here I have some Carnation instant non-fat dry milk. We're going to use this to mix up our milk. And you're going to need all-purpose flour. Alright, let's get into it. You're also going to need some kind of an oil or fat. Ideally, you're also going to need some biscuits or toast to put this on. Now you want to brown your beef lightly. In this recipe I'm showing you, makes enough for 2 servings for 2 adults. You can scale it down, but honestly, when I'm hungry in the morning, I can eat this whole thing. Alright, got this about as browned as I want. I'm going to take it off the heat, turn the heat off here. And we're going to combine our ingredients for our milk. I will set this aside. Alright, I have 2 cups of water. That's 16 ounces or about 500 milliliters. And according to the directions on this stuff, about a half a cup or 118 milliliters will make our milk. So we're about to find out. I've never used this stuff before. So the brand of dry milk I used to get was not available, like a lot of things lately in the store. So we're going to try this. And we're going to try combining this and see what happens. Well, it looks like milk, don't it? I'm going to stir this for a while. I'll bring you back for the next. Alright, I've been stirring this for about 5 minutes. I don't see any lumps. Let's take a little taste test. Tastes like milk. So I think that'll do. Okay. Alrighty. Alright. Put this back on the heat. We add the milk. We let this combine. Make sure there's nothing stuck on the bottom. And I'm going to let that come to temperature until we start to get a simmer. We've got this going at a very nice simmer now. Now what we're going to do is we're going to break up the beef bouillon cube, because I find it dissolves better when it's broke up. And we're adding that in here. Alright, now what we do is we continue to let it simmer. We stir it every once in a while. And our whole point is we want that beef bouillon to dissolve in here. And that usually takes about 5 to 10 minutes. So I'm pretty sure that the beef bouillon cube is combined, because if you look at the color is kind of evened out. It's not white anymore. You know, it's more like a light tan color to the whole thing. I hope that's coming across on camera. So we are ready to add the flour. Now this is where anything else other than a spatula would be useful, but I'm not going to pack in other utensils. So I've kind of come up with this technique where I can combine the flour, and I just keep doing this till I work all the lumps out. Then I add a little bit more flour, and I do it again, I do it again. If done properly, you won't have any lumps. One thing I didn't mention, but you want to keep your heat really low at this point. I turned my heat all the way down. You can barely see any flame there. I don't want this super hot while I combine the flour, because this will thicken up into a gravy pretty quick. It usually takes about half a cup of flour. And that's just general all-purpose flour. Alright, I've shut off the heat. As you can see, we've got a gravy-like consistency. Now you can make it thicker than this. I just don't see the need to make it thicker. And I did all this with a spatula. Now there's a few small lumps I can see in there. Nothing terrible. Nothing that'll keep me from eating it. And I used about half that cup of flour. Alright. Time to plate this up and eat. So I have some buttered toast here. Look at that. Look at that. Put this lid on here. Keep that nice and warm. Let's try some. Oh, I almost forgot. Salt and pepper time. Usually I only need a little bit of pepper. Okay, that's plenty of pepper for me. And a dash or two of salt. Okay, that should be good. Let's give it the taste test. Oh, look at that. Needs a little bit more salt. There we go. Yeah, that hits the spot in the morning, especially when it's cold out. Warms you up, sticks to your ribs. Oh yeah. That'll hit the spot. Tastes slightly different. It might be due to the fact that I'm using this carnation for the first time. Like I said, my normal brand wasn't in stock. But as you see, we still got a lot here in the pan. That's enough for 2 large servings. Or if you portion it out, 3 smaller servings. I'm glad you all joined me for this episode of cooking. I hope in this series you're kind of getting where I'm coming from to try different things at home and make it like you would make it on the trail. So you can kind of vary up what you're going to have for your dinner, lunch, breakfast, all of that. Okay? All right. Well, I will catch you all later on out in those woods over there. Maybe making some Army SOS. Thank you for watching, and Kira says have a good night.